Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Night here once again, and this is going to be another tier list. So, I know we are technically in the Halloween season, and this is not really a Halloween related tier list, but you know what? We have a little bit of unfinished business. It's because I haven't ranked all the championships yet in tier list, at least all the WWE Championships. So, we continue that. This time we are looking at the Women's Championships. And surprisingly, although maybe not surprisingly, there was more than I thought. But nevertheless, we got our championships here, and there's a number of them. Not as much as, say, like the World Championships or even the mid-card titles, but still a good number of them. The only omissions were the Women's Tag Team Championships, and that's because, kind of spoiler, although maybe you saw it coming with the pattern, I decided we'll save those for when we rank the Tag Team Championships. But in the meantime, we've got our championships here, and then we've got our tier. So, in top tier, we have Femme Fatale, meaning it's a really good looking championship, really solid, really just beautiful title. Then we have A tier, meaning maybe not the top, but still really good. Then B tier is the kind of the middle ground, not great, not horrible, but good or okay. C tier is almost at the bottom. One or two things keeping it out of the bottom of the barrel. Well, it's really not great. And then thrown in the trash is our bottom. If you know, you know. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting with the original design for the women's championships. So, here we have the picture of the fabulous Moolah, who was champion for a long time. I'm pretty much like almost like the Ric Flair of like the original women's championships, at least from what I've been reading in my research for it. And this was the original design, and what they had is in the center would be the picture of the current title holder, and I believe the OG WWE Championship or the OG World Championship had kind of like a similar thing going on with this picture in the center. Which, if you have already, if you missed my World Championships tier list in WWE or my mid card titles in WWE, those tier lists, or even or even I did a tier list for the AEW championships. If you missed any of those, go check those out. But as for this design, admittedly not the biggest fan of it. Now, granted, you do have to kind of keep the time period in mind. This was around like 50s, 60s, 70s, but and part of the 80s, but so you do have to keep those in mind. But otherwise, you still do have to be objective, and objectively, not really the biggest fan of these. And of course, these are all my opinions. So if you disagree with any of these, that is completely fine. But I do like. It almost looks a little too bulky for my liking. Like all these like parts sticking out. Very sharp. I wouldn't want to accidentally run this into my abdomen or anything. And then it does have kind of this like silver, or it does have the ring in the background, which I think is nice and does kind of, and it is nice to have kind of a design with it. And it does have like different studs with like red and like silver or studs, or like I forgot the red gem, ruby, if I'm not mistaken, like ruby or like silver like studs and stuff like that going throughout, which is also a nice kind of pop. And I do like the crown on top, which kind of reminds me of like the World Championship, but otherwise, I don't think I'm the biggest fan of it. So with that being said, the original, I think I will. I don't want to be too harsh on it, but I do have to be fair. So as fair as possible. So I think I'm gonna put it in C. I don't think it's the bottom of the barrel, but I think I do have to put it in C. Then next up is the one from 1984. Now, yes, this is very blurry. However, this was one of the only images I could find of like the women's championship from this time. I found it on the wiki. It had all the championships, and this is the image that it had. From what I can make out, it does remind me of like the Intercontinental Championship. Pretty much like the base design for like the Intercontinental Championship. especially from around that time. And it does have the blue strap and the red and stuff there. So I think this one. I don't want to dock it because how blurry it is, but I think this one. I think I'll put it in B. Because I do like the design of like Intercontinental Championship. So I guess it was repurposed for the women at this time. But then next up is 1985. Much more clear of a design. This one, this one's interesting. It's got like the old design. And here it's got these like curly bits at the top, which I think is an interesting touch. It's got the WWF, the block WWF logo of the Ladies World Wrestling Champion right there. It's got like the side plates, hates a lot of that stuff going on, and we see some of the studding once again, and kind of reminds me, of the side plates of. Kind of similar to these ones, but more square. Kind of reminds me of like the World Heavyweight Championship a little bit. It maybe it's just because of the gold and the like square parts on the side. But otherwise, I think it looks okay for the most part, and it does have the nice light blue strap. So yeah, nothing too crazy going on, but I think it works. So this one, I think I'll also put in B. Then next up is the 1986 to 1990 version. So kind of similar to this one. Kind of feels like this one and this one kind of combined. So it does have a darker blue strap. Between the lighter blue and the darker blue, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I think I might be leaning towards the lighter blue a little bit. But it also has the globe in the center, kind of similar to the Intercontinental Championship, at least around this time. And then kind of similar side pieces to here, in fact, almost like the same, except a little more silver, so it's not like solid gold. Well, instead, it's silver and gold, which does help it to pop a little bit more. But otherwise, there is quite a bit going on. So a little bit more than this, but I think it still looks okay. So this one, I think I'll put in. I think I'll put in B. Yeah, I think I'll put in B. Then next up is the 1993 to 1995 design. And something about this I like. It's got the centerpiece. It's got the flags, Mexico, Canada, the States, and Japan, and which is nice, showing like different countries from around the world. It's got the centerpiece here and kind of the effect going through. It's got the globe right there. It's got the WWF block logo, the gold and red there, and Women's Wrestling Champion. It does remind me, once again, kind of like the Intercontinental Championship, but I think probably because of the flags, it also does kind of remind me of the AEW International Championship as well. And it's against the white strap, which I think was a nice choice for this. Something about it I dig. So this one, you know what? Something about it. I think I might put this one in A, actually. Yeah, something about it. I think I'll put it in A. Then next up is the design introduced in 1998 and the women's championship that they would use for a while. This is probably the design that I'm sure most, if not all of you, are familiar with. This design for the women's championship. And this design is really cool. It's got the black strap. It's got the circles there are more so like ovals, and this design here with like the red and the scratch WWE logo. There is the other version with the WF logo, but it's pretty much the same, so I just decided to just go with this singular one. And it does have the blue there to give it a little pop, and it's got the nameplate down there. This one, and it is a really cool. Is a really cool design, very iconic design. So this one, you probably saw this coming, but yep, I gotta put in Femme Fatale. It's definitely gotta go in Femme Fatale. It's a really good looking design. Then next up is the Women's Championship. split in half. After it was so good, they decided to split in half. So this is the split in half design when Lay Cool, which is Michelle McCool here, and Layla here, were co-women's champions. You remember that? That was an interesting time in the women's division. But they were co-champions, and they decided to split the belt in half, which on one hand is a very interesting gimmick, and I guess it counts as a custom championship. Technically, it's just the women's championship split in half, but I decided to toss it in there because it is like a women's championship. So they split it in half, but it also does look really weird, like it being split in half, like one half and then the other. But I think the gimmick, like it being as part of the gimmick and it being like split in half because they're considering themselves co-champions, which I forgot how they had gotten to that point, how they had wound up as co-champions or declaring themselves co-champions. If one of you guys could fill me in on that, please let me know. But otherwise, yeah, so that one, I think I am going to put in B, just for the gimmick itself. Like, it does look a little weird, but it fits with the gimmick. But next up is the Divas Championship. Now, there are, I'd say, the majority of people that hate this design, and I can definitely understand why. There is quite a bit going on. It's got like the butterfly and everything. It's got like the purple and silver, and all that going on. But it is, I think, a little too much. It's got like the pink and purple and stuff. Like, I get, more so feminine colors, and it's got quite a bit of jewelry, but it definitely does kind of scream 2000s, if we're being honest. It screams like that 2000s, and not like the early 90s, 2000s, and kind of rock and roll, little radical dude things that we talked about before, but it does scream like 2000s, kind of, with like design and everything. A lot of people really hate it. Me, I don't know if I hate it, probably because this was kind of the era where I was really watching, so I'm very familiar with this title, but like, yeah, it doesn't hold a candle to like this one. So this one, I don't know if it's at the bottom, and I don't know if it's at C, but I don't know if it's B. Is there like a B minus tier? You know what? I think I'll be generous. I'm feeling kind of generous. I think I'll put it in B. Yeah, I am feeling a little generous. I think I'll put it in B. But it's crazy that when these two titles were designed, this was the one that stuck around instead of this one. Then next up is the Raw Women's Championship. So this championship was eventually ditched, and in 2016 with the brand split came new women's championships, one for Raw, one for SmackDown. So here is the Raw Women's Championship. Yep, and with this title, the SmackDown Women's title, and two other titles that we're going to look at, you can probably guess what they are pretty much borrowing the already established design of like the WWE Championship. The WWE Championship design that was really introduced in like 2013 by The Rock, and then they added the new like skinnier WWE logo in 2014, and most, if not all, the titles have had that design ever since. Kind of had like that similar kind of design template ever since. But this one, and it's decked out all in red, similar to its Universal Championship cousin, at least at the time. But I think what puts it over the edge, and I do have to kind of grade it on a curve because we're not comparing it to, say, like the Universal Championship or the WWE Championship. This is kind of in its own bubble because it's the Women's Championship, so we do have to keep that in mind. However, I think compared to like the other Universal Championship, this one isn't as bad because because of the white strap, it does really take a lot of the edge off, and just leaves that red in the center. But this one, red on red, and this is more so like pink, but that, don't know if I'm the biggest fan. And so, unfortunately, I think this one, I don't think I can be as generous. I think I might put it in C, unfortunately. I don't think I can be as generous with that. But the SmackDown Women's Championship, on the other hand, and pretty much the same as this one, but it does have blue, red on blue, not like red on red, kind of like that one. So I think it does get extra marks for me. And of course, it does. Both these do have the custom side plates that the Women's Championships have. So the SmackDown, I think I might edge it up a little bit more than Raw and put it in B. Yeah, so I think I'll put it in B. Then next up is the WWE Women's World Championship, the championship design that was introduced this year and is currently being held by Mommy herself, Rhea Ripley. And pretty much the same as like the new World Heavyweight Championship design that we have just with the white strap instead of the black. And and a lot of people have said, and I kind of tend to agree, the white strap versus the black strap. I think the white strap is a better suit for the title. But otherwise, I think it's just okay. Hey, I accidentally smacked my mic there. So this one, I think I am gonna put it in B. Or actually, do I want to leave it in B, or do I want to leave it, or do I want to put it in A, actually? Because as I do like the World Championship design, and I think I put the other World Championship design in A, and I just said the white strap is better than the black. You know what? I think I think I'll put it in A. So, yeah, I think I'll put it in A. Yeah. And then lastly, the WWE Women's Championship. And this one has the design of the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship on SmackDown. This title, of course, being held currently by Io Sky. Pretty much the same. I do like the actual studding. That's something that we didn't really get. Well, we did have it to an extent, but it's a lot more noticeable here. It's like black studs instead of the white. Here. To kind of make it pop a little more. But otherwise, this one I think, compared to these two, I do like that this one is able to kind of maybe stand out a little bit more. Like the totally gold background still is kind of weird. I've kind of gotten used to it, not just with this design, but for the regular Undisputed WWE Universal Championship design. But this one I think, I'll put in B. To recap, as we are now finished with the tier list, to recap, in Femme Fatale we had the 1998 design, aka the WWF and WWE Women's Championship, the GOAT. Then in A tier we had the design from 93 and 95 and the WWE Women's World Championship. In B tier we had the 84, 85, 86 through 1990, the split in half, the Divas Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, and the WWE Women's Championship. And in C tier we had the original and the Raw Women's Championship. And none of these we had to throw in the trash, unlike the one that Alundra Blaze actually threw in the trash. But nevertheless, that is going to do it for this review. Not review, sorry. That's going to do it for this. Check out my review of Halloween Havoc 96, Dean Malenko vs. Rey Mysterio. That just came out yesterday, but I'm still kind of in review mode. But that is going to do it for this tier list. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the tier list and my rankings. Do you agree or disagree? And what's your favorite Women's Championship design? When I'll do the Tag Team Championships, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's not later this month, it'll be next month, and then we'll have one more, and then we'll be done with our rankings for WWE Championships. But thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.